rapper inquisition, moving through the fakeness, hip-hop matrix vision. Back again, in these bars, this is my prison. Walls of these pages with pen shanks I'm scribbling. No visits, lines on paper, concrete walls. My margin is my showers and my washroom stalls. End of the page is when I make parole. Force me to execute rappers, then throw me in the hole. So much soul, the MC, not confined. The elements of hip-hop today are not combined. Almost seeing the other side, gotta stay focused. Just gotta let that phone ring and don't lose focus. They can't try to hocus pocus, send rapping jokers with handbags, Gucci purses and chokers. Jeans, wrestler, spandex type, turning youths to robots. If you drink a Sprite, that's not what I say, that's what they do. Use rappers to sell you sneakers and Mountain Dew, flowing like a fountain dew. When you turn the lever, setting the bar for conscious MCs and rapping believers. Trapped with me in these bars, rappers begging for seizures. Hanging rappers with the strongest lines, squirm like leeches. Sentenced to the underground, no one hears their screams. Left right for the math for these black and yellow dreams. What happened to the MCs? Ask yourself. What happened to the DJ? Ask yourself. What happened to the grapher? Ask yourself. What happened to the dancer? Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself.
Check it. Let's open the book of hip-hop and make advances. My supreme knowledge of alchemical sciences only enhances my ability to drop metaphysical answers. When asked about the MC, the DJ, the grapher, the dancers, earth, air, fire, water, all being born to hip-hop. Study hard, you get that. Forget rap, cause it's not. The transformation from lead to go, from man to God, can be achieved through hip-hop. It's art, the planet's ours. The colors and tones and archetypes will spark the light. Give your third eye a bird's eye, restore the loss of sight. You already lost the fight whenever I come across the mic, because you're dealing with God and you can never exhaust the light. We making a shift from hip hop to God hop. It's the return of the ancient ones and we coming non-stop. So when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I'm here, straight from the boogie down, so have no fear.
What happened to the MCs? Ask yourself. What happened to the DJ? Ask yourself. What happened to the grapher? Ask yourself. What happened to the dancer? Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself. It's only in the underground, unseen but heard. Oracles, words, and metaphoric slurs. Riding on the soothe the savage beat tones. Paparazzi taking pictures, talking on the phone. Pictures tell 1,000 words. Bus drivers on camera, reading or sleeping while driving on camera. He might even be hammered. It's not even lunch yet. Didn't have breakfast, clock not even punch yet. Send that to the news and post on YouTube. Hits some people get are in the thousands, not few. Charge $1, make $1 million. Set up a website and PayPal, make a killing. Right, psych, that's all just hype. I'm on the streets bringing youths from darkness to light. I'm in their courts, not playing ball but schooling them crossover thoughts. It's not training camp like October sports. Season's been started. Sam's goons shoot shadow targets. Got them thinking it's the shoes when they're the market. Got them thinking it's the booze and blunts you smoke. Got them thinking magazine monthly hip-hop quotes have the best lines. They can't test time. Rappers gets awards for MC best albums and best rhymes. I was the brush carrier with fades and waves. Didn't know that hairstyle was from the ancient days. Me doing the work for the Amazon matriarchal. Rapping hip-hop today is so patriarchal. Female MCs on the mic are probably no 6. The game is like church and demigods, no woman on pulpits. We have to say what we must, sow some seeds so we can grow strong trees with the bedsheet leaves. Deadbeat seas, most navigate with flows. I flow on papyrus beat boats as I write these scrolls. Bringing back the hip-hop's constitutional fold. Even mics can't escape, catch a bruise when I hold. My paper trails leave them, soothe when I owe. Apply more science, never get booed when I flow. Cushion pen, not the cush when you see I blow. Flow for right years when my 3 eyes glow. And head and rapper inquisition. Pen mighty and the swords not even on ink we missing. What happened to the MCs? Ask yourself. What happened to the DJ? Ask yourself. What happened to the grapher? Ask yourself. What happened to the dancer? Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself. pushing a screw face. Won't stop street life, always facing a new case. Hates baseball, wears caps for Blue Jays fitted. No brown, we don't need a green to get lifted. A society of multicultures, feeding off the black dead carcass like vultures. While they feed blacks, say you insult us daily, but make drug mules of their hood babies. When I was in school, we used to see vagrants. They still bums today asking for change payments. Sisters turning to mothers younger. Youth are do programs for starving or hunger. Roaches run on their face while they sleep. In beds with bugs infesting the mattress and sheets. Many little brothers resting in peace, cause they followed their big brothers that ran these streets. Drug dealers calling themselves doctors and shrinks. To stop breast cancer, wear a shirt that's pink. To stop youth violence, get rid of the guns I see. Youth need to be taught about True Ali. That would lower the crime stats. Youth have no job, so here's a free CD of my tracks. Bag ladies and buggy pushing men. Drink Lysol with their drug addict friends. Pimps pushing new kicks in little sis face, but she's too scared to say that she got raped. And he got raped too, wanting to be a singer. Mayors and judges drinking their bloodage for dinner. Upstairs, I cover my ears in tears. Little bro beating his mom, he's under 20 years. Every day of his life, these streets are trife. Started selling, now he smokes the Snow White. Blind man plays the sax. Girl run over playing with blackberries on train tracks. Can't trust everybody you know, that's how it is. In the streets up to yo. Baby needs new shoes, but daddy got the newest when he chills with his crew. A young girl is undressed in the back like slave cargo, praying for help from Harpo in T.O. My boy Lex Lane inside his apartment. Gumma died of sickle cell, my heart didn't harden. Blew out of an aneurysm. Philly just got shot up by two of his own brethren in T.O. It's a grisly scene. 5-day search, Philly found dead in a ravine. Dead and injured because they shot up a jab. Police chief implemented King Alfred plan. People think it's jokes, but when the smoke clears, you're spilling your beans, handcuffed to a chair. DT's yelling and spitting in your face. Give names, or you won't beat your case. Palms sweating, goosebumps and shakes. Your day's a snitch, but still, you're gonna get shot in the face. NTO.
Enlightened, hoping I land close to some love so I can spread it on every damn coast. Meanwhile, I'm on the side where many men boast. Shit's rough when you got cuffs, keeping your hands close. Lampposts, like streets where warriors fight beasts. Running through the 6, I hope you wearing the right cleats. Keep a screw face, you might just die over white teeth. F-cops, I hope the killer smoking the right cheap. For survival, shit could get savage and primal. Something in the water killing us on arrival. Put that on the Bible, put that on the spiritual and tribal. Give thanks for a new day. Look over the city, the view of a blue jay. My nephew might call me over a new J. Represent the city no matter what you say. Keep it true, Faye, from T.O. to the UK.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law make civil literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up, upright. Brought me to a lost gate, cooking like I'm Salt Bay, repping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Had noble duality in plain sight, but people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astroplane interests, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Morris Omar, key man or oracle, using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical, lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Fact slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic, calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved, or cut like a close shave, drowned in my brain waves, squashed by heat waves, activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini, Selassie I in exile, reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real, all I see is false evidence. VAR feminists, stomped on by elephants, won't like go prejudice but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the pole magnetic resonance, Apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent, great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence, ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again, use energy right, not put spell effects on men, wandering the earth plane with no they live shades, keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades, not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets, holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday, war ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors present Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Islam to all the Moors, happy holy day to all the Moors, wherever you're at. Honors to you. Honors to Noble Drew Ali, our prophet. Noble Drew Ali taught us we're not Negro, black, colored. We're Moors. Supreme honors to Noble Drew Ali. Honors to Emmett Till. Because, you know, that's Mecca. That's Mecca as well. You know. And the name lives on. Just so you never forget how these colonists feel about you. Even if you're a child, that's how they feel about you. Not all of them, but the ones who have some sway. The ones who have some influence. That's how they feel about you. Never forget Emmett Till. Never forget. Right? And people lied. And they lied. You know? But it's a message. It's a sign. Again. From Noble Drew Ali. It's a sign. It's a message that you have to take heed to the message from the prophet. Because you listen to all the other prophets, every other prophet that anybody talks about or mentions, you're going to listen to them. As soon as we start talking about the prophet of the Americas, right? The prophet of the 1900s, that was yesterday. Came to save all the Asiatics of America. Came to teach them a lot of things. One of the main things that you're not Negro, black, colored. You're not that. Right? So again, you have to use it as a lesson. Right? You have to use it as a lesson. So you can see the point. Because a lot of people don't want to accept the point. Many don't want to accept the point. This is from Noble Drew Ali's writing called Divine Warning by the Prophet for the Nations. This is a paragraph. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way. And without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is no nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically in their present condition of their endeavorment, of which they themselves try to force on a civilized world. They will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. Keep in mind, he's talking to our people. And this is the 1920s. And we could say 100 years ago, as a timeline, that he said this. They, who's talking about our people, will not refrain from their sinful ways of action. And these sinful ways that our people adopt, these sinful ways have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. Not just human beings in America, not just human beings in your little state. You think you're something, your little block, and you think you're somebody because you rep some street or something. On earth, which means that this is a universal idea that he's talking about. See, isn't it odd that only our people don't get it? And they had a prophet that came and told them too, and they still don't get it. Right? And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses. But I have traveled in the South and have examined the conditions there. And it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. Didn't Emmett Till travel to the South? And they murdered him, didn't they? And then the Noble Drew Ali traveled to the South. And then he left the South and then came back to where he's from and got murdered. So either way, which way you go, right? You're either dealing with the modern European who wants to murder you, or you're dealing with your own who wants to murder you. Right? You heard the stuff, people setting up their friends at their birthday party and all that stuff and all types of madness. Right? Madness. But why? Really? Because these people refuse to acknowledge and recognize what Noble Drew Ali brought to them. And it's not all their fault, because their leaders should have been telling them for the past 100 years. Just like they tell them BS, and our people go with it. And what if they told them the truth about their nationality and their birthrights? But no, so keep in mind, the point here, keep in mind, is that It is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life.
Government to oppress people? Watch this. Was the hood actually created by the government to oppress people? Watch this.
The idea of the project or the hood is a byproduct of MK Ultra. For one, these places are hundreds or even thousands of miles apart. The hood in Atlanta is like the hoods in LA, which are like the hoods in Chicago, which are like the hoods in New York. How can you be hundreds and thousands of miles apart but yet so similar? It's the same mentality and the same activities. Well, before the proliferation of phones, you had rap music. And a lot of rap music, they promote alcoholism. Alcohol suppresses the central...
Listen.
Blah, 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 blah. We're the founders of alcohol. Our people that we used to call bush rum, right? Our people are alchemists. They make something out of nothing. That's how our people do. Founders of civilization. That's how we do. So yes, this stuff that they got today, that they call alcohol, of course it's going to have some whatever effects on you. Because people's mindset is to digest that. Just like people's mindset is to digest pork and then don't get why they have worms. Absolutely not using their common sense. So the reason why Atlanta and Chicago and Toronto and all these different places have these places called hoods, that it seems only the black guys are in those spots, is because they're black guys. And a black is a slave. And a slave goes on a plantation. And the hood, that's plantation. That's what that is. That's a venue, that's a place, that's an area that's cordoned off for the slaves. That's what that's for. Just like police are slave patrol. Police aren't law enforcement and then they got the badge and then they could walk around swinging the billy club. Hey, I do. Good morning, mister. That's not police. That's slave patrol. That's just what it is. You could play around all you want. Now, you keep playing around with them as the slave patrol under the disguise of law enforcement, if you want. If you want. But they're slave patrol. So if you choose to engage them and you're claiming that you're black and a slave came from Africa and all that stuff, then that's the slave patrol. And what does the slave patrol do? How do the slave patrol deal with these human beings called Negro, black, colored, slave? How does the slave patrol deal with them? Right? They slap them up and all that stuff. Right? They might even take some, just put them on a tree just for fun. Just because they're the slave patrol. Oh yeah.
Arrested me and stuff, but I didn't do nothing. It's called resisting, idiot. William McNeil Jr., just 22 years old, was stopped by police for allegedly driving without his headlights on in poor weather. When he calmly asked the officer to cite the specific law he had broken, the officer didn't answer. Instead, he said, "Just step out of the car and I'll read it to you." But instead of hearing the law, William heard his window shatter. Without provocation or violence from William, the officer punched through his car window and struck him in the face. Blood could be seen dripping from the corner of his mouth as he was violently pulled from the vehicle and arrested, not for any actual crime, but for so-called resisting arrest without violence. That's the absurdity. How do you resist arrest non-violently and still get punched in the face? What's worse, the officers involved, including the one who attacked William, were not criminally charged. The officer who punched him was only temporarily stripped of his law enforcement authority pending an internal review. All of this over a questionable claim about headlights during daytime. William McNeil remained calm. He complied. He asked a reasonable question, and for that, he was treated like a threat. This is...
Why? Because they're slave patrol. Get it through your thick skull. These people aren't law enforcement. They're slave patrol. Slave patrol. Oh yeah, and you could go right on there, Tariq Bey, right in the chat right there right now, and then you could ask him to send you his video of the police stop when they said he was speeding. And he got to leave, no issues. And he was asking them questions, but what do you mean speed limit? Like, what do you mean? Limit for who? Like, what are you talking about? There was no punching in the face and all that stuff. Yeah, there was none of that. You ever see an Asian pulled over and getting their ass beat? You ever see any other nationality pulled over, getting their ass beat? As soon as the slave gave the slave instrument called a license, then he's slave patrol now. So whatever happens is going to happen, whether he lets him go or whether he is going to be all on, it's going to be all on that individual, whether they feel like it or not. Because they gave the slave instrument, which is a license, right? So that's a slave instrument. Let me give you an example again, so you know it's a slave instrument. Remember 12 years a slave? When slave master lady gave the brother the pass to go do something, and then he's walking, and then he hears some stuff, and then he finally gets to the spot, and they're about to put somebody on the tree. And then they got all excited or whatever like that because they think they got two today. And then they ran up on him to go put him on the tree, and he's like, oh no, I got my license. I got my license from Massa. So because he had the license from Massa, he got to pass. He had Massa license, so he got to pass. The other guy had nothing. And he was about to go on the tree. Remember, the pass came from Massa. We're not saying, that he got a pass because he knew something. No, that's Massa's boy. License. So once you give the license, as soon as you give the license, then you're dealing with stock and slave patrol and stuff like that now. Right? Because, our people are going to go on to, oh, they're so wrong. They shouldn't do that. They shouldn't do. Yeah, they shouldn't. But why do they keep doing this? Because they're slave patrol. Get it through your thick skull. Stop calling them when you have issues. They're not your boy, they're not your friend, and all that stuff. They have a job, just like you have yours. And then you're not gonna let your drunk friend just waddle through your job, come looking for you and all that stuff. Why not? All right.
First here at 10 o'clock, the Muscogee Nation Supreme Court rules freedmen have full rights within the tribe. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Craig Day.
And I'm Lori Fulbright. Freedmen are descendants of slaves once held by the tribe.
As a Native American Indian.
Black Creek freedmen descendants just wanted to be recognized as citizens and receive the same rights as the other tribal members, and the Muscogee Nation Supreme Court says that is their legal right.
Since 1979, the Muscogee Creek Nation has unlawfully excluded Black Creeks from their citizenship rights that are guaranteed by the Treaty of 1866.
Demario Solomon Simmons says many people are ecstatic about this opportunity to finally get their citizenship back.
Well, what we hope to happen is that the Creek Nation leadership will be happy to sit down with us and let's forge and try out a path for reconciliation and healing.
Principal Chief David Hill sent a statement that says, "We are currently reviewing the order to understand its basis, as well as its implications for our processes. It may be necessary to ask for a reconsideration of this order to receive clarity so that we can ensure that we move forward in a legal, constitutional manner."
Being a Creek citizen is my birthright, first and foremost. And now we're looking for equality.
Now, this is them. This is what they say, the Muscogee Creek Nation. The Muscogee Nation, or Muscogee Creek Nation, is a federally recognized Native American tribe based in the U.S. state of Oklahoma. So they went from being a ward to being a ward again. Because federally recognized means that there's a jurisdiction above the Creek Nation. And just like 12 years a slave, Creek Nation guys have their Massa pass. They have their Massa pass. Same Massa that these people are saying, well, we don't want to be black. We want to go back to being Indians or whatever like that. And then they're going to go to the Indian Nation people who are federally recognized. Right, so federally recognized is letting you know that their authority comes from whoever recognized them. Or they wouldn't have the authority to do what they're doing. Now, in the 20s, Noble Drew Ali said, "With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865. So after 1865, you should already be recognized and have your rights and all that stuff. What do you need some recognition from them for? Unless it's a fraud. And only fraud is going to recognize fraud. Because the real deal is that we're not black. We're not Indian. This is the Moroccan Empire. That's why Cuba coat of arms has a fez on it. That's why Haiti on the coconut tree has a fez on it. That's why you go talk to any Latin speaking people, and they'll tell you, Moreno, Morena, no negro. I'm not black, papi, I'm not black. Because they have a nationality. Their nationality is tied to the Moorish Empire that they know. Why do you think when you go check all the Muscogee whoever's, how come all the Muscogee whoever's, they got turbans on? Come all the Muscogee whoever's have turbans on with a feather? Why do they have turbans on with a feather? This is the Muscogee leader guy. Painting of the Muscogee leader guy, and then he has a turban. Tell me about some black whatever. And all these people are Moors, and it's unavoidable once you do a little bit of research. You don't even have to go crazy. Just because you cheaters have AI and stuff now, you have no excuse to be getting played and to not be able to figure this stuff out. How's he not figuring this stuff out? It's all Moorish. People have been playing you. It's not just one image. Every image of their leader guy, he's turban up. Or he has the feather. That's what they're doing? Turban with the feather? All of them? All? Everybody's repping. All the Creek whoever's are repping turbans with feathers. Sitting there playing stateless games, but you wanna be recognized by them. But they're Moors. What do you mean? Don't you recognize yourself, black guy? Always begging for somebody's stuff when you have your own stuff. Right. Look at this. Man's turban. This is the National Museum of the American Indian. This is the National Museum of the American Indian. Now, why does the National Museum of the American Indian have a turban with a feather on there? And then what makes you think that Drew Ali didn't have it figured out? Obviously, he figured it out. Obviously. He had to have figured it out. And then the native whoever's in their museum, they have the turban. Oklahoma, Muscogee Creek. Man's turban. (2014). So they're sitting here, right? The Muscogee and all them, right? They're dressing up like Moors and all that stuff, calling themselves a nation. They're talking about Muscogee nation, but they wear turbans with feathers, which is Moorish. And then the black guys are talking about they want to be Muscogee and Creek instead of just being Moors. They just be Moors. Is it that hard? You want to be Indian whatevers? Well, Indian whoever's, they're wearing turbans and all that. So that means that they're Moors, isn't it? All right. You play your little games with your Negro leaders and whoever all you want to. Don't bring that BS to Moors. We're not buying it.
Who you fuck you calling Hulk Hogan? You know what? Blocking your ass. Blocking your ass.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan.
Have no one to call if they're wrongly arrested. The white person will call their local political committee name or person. They'll call the parents, perhaps, of a teenager, will call the local politician. Yo, what's going on here? My child was arrested just because he didn't have his license. Why didn't you just tell him to go home and get his license? And things like, so the white person has more power. Black people have no connection to the people in power. So
why? Because the slave never does. Unless the slave is a sellout. Right? No, unless the slave's a sellout. Only if the slave's a sellout. Is he going to have connections with people in power, people in the house, people with the horses and all that stuff? Other than that, nigga, shut up and dribble. You don't care. You just go dribble. Right? Why is it that the people with no power, everybody knows they have no power? And they're not even trying to hit them off with a little bit or whatever. They're just leaving them there with no power and then complaining about, they don't have power. Maybe it's because they call themselves black. If there's a blackout, is there power? How much power you have if there's a blackout? You're still missing it? You still asleep? You're still asleep, huh? You're that asleep? Oh, that was too deep. That was too deep. We have to get shallow. We have to get shallow for you. Okay. He said white people this and all that, right? Bet you if you ask him what's his background, he's not going to say white. Bet you. Bet you his background is going to be some type of Irish or Scottish or Italian or Greek or something like that. Bet you. Bet he's not going to say, oh yeah, my great-granddad, oh yeah, he was a white man. He was a white man that came over here and established the white... You're not going to be talking like that. All right.
So you know there's not going to be any blowback on arresting a minority because they don't have any power to complain.
And Afro-Americans are not only unjustly arrested, they are not treated with the same respect as white people are.
I agree, because nobody else ran again? Or if you stop somebody from going through a light, you would say, out of your car. Out of your car. Show me ID. You would say that. To a white person, you would go up and say, may I see your driver's license, please? And blacks know that. Blacks know when you go, hey, out of your car, now. And then they say, whoa, what did I do? Oh, what did I do? Don't say that. Don't ask me why I'm stopping you. I said get out of the car. And that's right there, your first disrespect. And I saw that happening, and blacks know it's happening. They know it's not happening to white people. So automatically they start resenting the police. Just from little verbal commands, let alone the physicality of grabbing somebody and putting them in handcuffs. Police have no one to call if they're wrongly arrested. The white person will call their local political committee man or person. They'll call the parents, perhaps, of a teenager, will call the local politician. Yo, what's going on here? My child was arrested just because he didn't have his license. Why didn't you just tell him to go home and get his license? And police have no one to call if they're wrongly arrested. The white person will call.
Well, they have somebody to call. They're going to be calling the Negro lawyers who are going to come with their civil rights, whatever. Because remember, there's always going to be a slave who wants to be in the house. There's always going to be a slave who's going to do what master says. The master says, go defend these people under some, don't do another constitutional rights. Defend them under some civil rights. So they can think that they got something. And then they're going to go up there and then they're going to stand there and give their little speech and all that stuff. Have the victim come up, give their little speech and all that stuff. They're going to cash out 18 million, 2 million in court fees. Right? Retainer, probably another 2 million. And they've been doing that forever. And then they get all that, right? So then they win. They get the 15 million, whatever like that. And then in 5 years, they're broke. They just won 12 million after all the fees and all that stuff. And they're broke in 5 years. Why? Because MK Ultra? No, because you're a dumb Negro. And if you're Negro, black or colored, you don't have it up here. Right? Just like you said in the chat. Well, I'm Mexican. Yeah, that's a nation. I bet you're not gonna say that you're brown though. I bet you're not gonna run around talking about brown rights and brown this and that. I bet you. I bet you're going to say Mexican every time. I bet you're going to trace yourself back and then everybody else back there is going to be Mexican too. I bet you're not going to play some brown BS. Like the people like to play around, think they know something. Right? No, you're not. You're Mexican. Stop it. You're not brown and down nothing. That's BS because we're not black over here. So there's no get back and white is all right and all that stuff ain't going on over here either. So you can FOH with that brown and down BS too. Because you already let the cat out the bag that you're Mexican. Now you're brown? Yeah, right. You go tell your grandma you're brown. She'll beat your ass. I mean, you're brown. Our ancestors are indigenous to this land. What's brown people? What's that? That's a fiction. And down where? Where are you brown and down where? Down where? Where are you going? What are you going down for? Down with what? Right? That's why it's BS. Because everybody has a nationality. There's no yellow community out here. No yellow community. Nowhere. On the planet. Nowhere. Nobody's saying that they're yellow people. No one. Absolutely no one. no yellow entertainment television, no yellow food, whatever, no, none of that. But with our people, oh, it's black and colors and all these fictions. All these fictions. They're putting you on game. That's what the problem is with our people. We have no power because we don't have a nationality. It's not because the devil and the white man is not because of any of that. Off the top, it's because we're calling ourselves some type of BS. Right? When did East Indians turn brown? When they came over here and saw us doing the black BS. But remember, even though they're saying brown, in the background they're Hindu, Punjab, or whatever. They're not brown. They know they're not brown. When they say whatever day celebrating their whatever they're celebrating, you hear them say brown anything? Brown celebration and all that? Even after they come over here, they still say their nationality. Even though they play the brown BS. Right? But when it comes to them going on TV and shouting about it or whatever, they're going to be shouting about their nationality. They're not going to be shouting about their brown people. None of them. All of them. They're going to say Sri Lankan. They're going to say nation. They're never going to say brown. They only do that when they're just like how you see them saying nigger now, right? And the Arabs, they're saying nigger, and everybody could say nigger now because really everybody is the nigger, right? Everybody is it, right? Everybody is it. Because we're the founders of the human family. So everybody has us in them. Whether it shows in their hair, whether it shows in their eyes, whether it shows in their whatever. Right? We're in everybody. Everybody has us in them. And some of them can't deal with it. That's why they play race games and all that stuff. So they can't deal with the fact. And they're gonna go run, beat up and murder Emmett Till or whatever, but they're not gonna murder themselves. Who they're nigger too. And not murder themselves though. But they'll find a black guy quick. They'll find a slave quick fast. And go murder them. Right? Take out their anger, their frustrations. Right? The point is, it's about nationality. Right? The point is that it's about nationality. And knowing what our nationality is, and then not calling ourselves fictions. The fictions are Negro, black, colored, and all the other stuff that we call ourselves. That's a fiction. Some colonizer name is what we call ourselves. Everybody else, their name goes back ancient. It goes back thousands of years. Our people, well, it goes back 40 years, 100 years, 20 years, 200 years. Right? People are gonna say they're you know, the good one Moors like to use, they say they're Pan-African. There's nowhere called that. There's no place called Pan-Africa. There's no place called that. Pan-African is a fiction. That's not a real identity of a people. Just It's like we showed you. Right? If the Muscogee Creek Indian whoever's, and this is their National Museum of the American Indian, has a turban with a feather in there, you can't tell me they don't know about the Moors. You can't tell me they don't know about the Moors. What you talking about? They have a turban in their museum. How don't they know who the Moors are? Where'd they get that turban from? With a feather. What you mean? That's Moorish. All day, that's Moorish. That's not Indian culture. Turbans. They might have had some war bonnet or something when they're going riding up and down the place. The everyday stuff, turbans. Turbans. That's their museum that they have that in. That's their Indian museum. What are you debating Moors about, but we're not Moors? Stop. Stop the madness. One more time.
Who you fuck you calling Hulk Hogan? You know what? Blocking your ass. Blocking your ass.
Oh yeah.
There's a reason they changed it from Native American to indigenous, because Native implies that you're Aboriginal and you're not. Indigenous just means you were there before colonialism. That much is true. Well, modern day colonialism. But what we're discovering from many people with receipts is that y'all were categorized as Native Americans. Black people were reclassified from Native Americans because they're the real natives and changed to African American when there is historical documents, there's birth certificates, there's literal migration papers, proof that people are coming up with in the comments on these videos that you make these stupid comments on, proving that they were there before y'all. Not all black people come from Africa, but all races do come from black. Please refute and address the documents that they are putting literally in my comments. Y'all don't want to do that. Instead, you want to come here and make me look stupid because you're racist. That's also why you can't admit that you came from Asians, because y'all hate us. Join the club, baby. We're still strong. We still exist. Superpower for a fucking reason.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows. The only people who don't know are the big dummies that want to keep playing Negro, black, colored, Indian, whatever games. Because remember, she look Asian, right? You think she's yellow? She look yellow to you? Or is that just some type of figure of speech thing? Because she doesn't look yellow to me. I wouldn't, if I was to call her yellow, that means something's wrong with me, because clearly I can't see. I'm blind or something. So this BS that people made up, people being judged by their skin color and all that stuff, right? It's a front. It's a fraud. Right? It's a fraud. Right? Okay. So going back again to the point. She looked Chinese as F. How come you didn't say she looked yellow? How come? And never, ever, 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 ever would anybody ever say some yellow people. Oh, look at all yellow people. And be serious. Oh, but we can be called black. And that's serious. They have black museums and black this and black that all over the place, but you know yellow anything? And then blacks aren't looking at that like, hey, hold on a second. Yeah, how come They don't have yellow anything, but we have black everything. No. Yeah, Yellow Man the reggae artist, and he's not even Asian. Look up Yellow Man, right? The reggae artist. Right, look at a close up of him. I would do it on here, but I want you to do it. Go look up Yellow Man and then ask yourself, is he Asian? Somebody's been playing you, right? The green people don't come from Greenland. They don't. The people of Greenland don't say they're green. Right? Somebody's playing you. Right? Somebody's playing you. Don't get played. It's because you want to play incompetent games. Don't get played. Right? And then we'll close out on this. Right again. Turbans, feathers, crowns, sashes, robes. This is Brazil. Turban, feathers, hijab. This is Brazil. These don't look like Moors in the castle and all that stuff. This is right. This is definitely some Moorish. Does anybody look like a slave in here? Or this is 1834. Right, slavery, what, 1865 they said slavery, right? So this is during the slave times now. During the slave times, there's royalty in Brazil. I thought they said all the slaves were over there and all that. How's there royalty in Brazil, 1800s? How come the royalty looks like the slaves? How come the royalty not looking like some pale people? You've been played. You've been played. So as usual, this is for the two in the back. The two in the back who you're starting to think. And Nobudrali said, think and you'll save yourself. So just think. Just think. It's like we were talking with the Moors earlier about ball training and repetition. And it's the repetition, thinking, continually thinking, not just wayward thinking or you're off in some oblivion thinking. Structured, disciplined thinking.
The thing that Black Americans are the real Indians isn't truth.
Yes, it is.
It's a result of deep generational brainwashing. It's colonial confusion and it's internalized racism and anti-blackness.
You just explained everything that happened to you guys in the 60s. Back then, you guys were forced into American U.S. government-owned public institutions to teach you that you were slaves and from Africa. But back then, you used to be in Black indigenous schools until you were forced out by desegregation.
By trying to find worth by claiming someone else's identity instead of embracing our own.
So why are you trying to be African? You guys aren't African.
Africa is not a myth, it's not lost, it's in our blood, spirit, and story. Let's please stop running from that.
Honestly, I don't even know why you want to be African so badly. You guys don't know anything about their history, their culture, their religion, anything about them. Yet, you want to be African because the government told you in the 80s that you're African.
We don't have to rewrite anyone else's history to reclaim our own power.
Yes, you do. That's what happened to you.
Geographically and historically, Africa is where our roots are, and I am not ashamed to say that, even though I have never been to Africa. West Africa is where most enslaved black people were taken from. That's documented, that's proven.
All right, prove it. Where's the slaves? Where's the slave ships? Where's any proof? I tried asking ChatGPT for any tangible proof, and they couldn't give me anything. I tried.
Saying that black Americans are the real Indians isn't truth.
Yes, it is.
It's a result of deep generational brainwashing. It's colonial confusion, and it's internalized racism and anti-blackness.
You just explained everything that happened to you guys in the 60s. Back then, you guys were forced into American U.S. government-owned public institutions to teach you that you were slaves and from Africa.
Islam, Moors, honors to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the Moors in the chat. Salam nu! Islam. I heard the house is coming on well too, yo. I talked to Pops in the week, and stuff is going on over there. Honors to all the Moors everywhere, wherever you're at. Honors to you. So the yellow people are starting to talk up now about how the people who say that they're Indians, they're liars. So you're not gonna listen to Moors, but let's see if you listen to the yellow people. Since the yellow people have something to say, let them school you.
But back then, you used to be in black indigenous schools until you were forced out by desegregation.
By trying to find worth by claiming someone else's identity instead of embracing our own.
So why are you trying to be African? You guys aren't African.
Africa is not a myth, it's not lost, it's in our blood, spirit, and story. Let's please stop running from that.
Africa's a myth. Because if they listen to Drew Ali in the 20s, who told them that Africa is a Mexim, that's the true and divine name of Africa. There ain't no Africa. That's a fiction. That is a myth. That's why the yellow people could say that you're not from there, because you can't be from somewhere that's a myth. You could be from Never Never Land. You're from Never Never Land. If somebody came to you and said, yeah, I'm from Never Never Land, you gonna take them serious? You really gonna take them serious? They came from Fantasy Island, and that's who you're running with. It's a myth. And then on top of Drew Ali telling them, and then Dr. Ben told them in all his books that that's Al-Kebalan, Africa's Greek, stop the BS. Same Dr. Ben who they say that they honor and all that stuff, and you know, he even told them that Africa's a fraud. And many other after that. Many others. And they're still playing this game with you. Africa games. And that's a fiction. Nobody said our ancient foremothers and forefathers weren't on that side of the planet. Nobody said that. We just weren't African. Because Africa's a myth. A myth. Not real. Africa's colored. That's not a real place. There's not a continent called that. That's a fiction. The true name is a Mexim. That's what you should be talking about. Or Al-Kebalan. And if the whoever's that are the scholars are telling you Africa 2025, they're not saying Al-Kebalan yet, people are playing you.
Honestly, I don't even know why you want to be African so badly. You guys don't know anything about their history, their culture, their religion, anything about them. Yet, you want to be African because the government told you in the 80s that you're African.
We don't have to rewrite anyone else's history to reclaim our own power.
Yes, you do. That's what happened to you.
Geographically and historically, Africa is where our roots are, and I am not ashamed to say that, even though I have never been to Africa. West Africa is where most enslaved black people were taken from. That's documented, that's proven.
All right, prove it. Where's the slaves? Where's the slave ships? Where's any proof? I tried asking ChatGPT for any...
So go ask AI. Go ask AI that one and see what AI tells you. Because you know AI gets back with stuff that's crazy when you ask them stuff. Right? Matter of fact. Matter of fact, let's go check. Right. So more asks asks AI, what was Drew Ali's message to the people? This is what AI came back with. Drew Ali encouraged his followers to be active, productive, and law-abiding citizens. Taking your place implies being responsible members of society, contributing positively, and understanding their rights and duties within America. Taking one's place meant living a life that reflected these values, thereby elevating oneself and the community. Take your place among the affairs of men was a call to action for Moorish Americans to reclaim their dignity, assert their rightful identity, and actively shape their destiny rather than passively accepting the subordinate roles thrust upon them by a prejudiced society. It was a message of empowerment, self-reliance, and community building, rooted in a reinterpretation of history and spirituality. And that's just, a paragraph or something of this stuff that AI came back with when he's asking about Noble Drew Ali, asking AI. So like we say, with info at your fingertips now, since you don't have to go to a lecture and all that stuff, you could sit on your ass at your house and do research. You can't not know at this point. You still can't be playing dumb games as slaves and all that stuff. If the yellow people know that you're not a slave, and they went and did their research, asked AI and all that stuff, and they say that stuff's BS. They asked AI about slave ships and they're coming back with drawings. And you ask them about anything else. Oh yeah, castles, they're gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you drawings. Even the damn AI knows. And you're over here playing dumb with Moors.
You mean the DNA test that said I was 100% Native American? Hey, look at the haplogroups on those DNA tests. Why do you share haplogroups with all of Asia? It's not a complex question. Y'all keep coming here with this bullshit. I'll keep debunking it every time. What part of telling natives that they come from Asia is hateful? What's very hateful is the blatant racism I have received from just saying that. It won't change the facts, though. I have noticed this argument going on for years, and because your community is so anti-black, you have not listened to a damn thing the melanated indigenous have said. You discredit everything, all of their proof, their photos, their DNA tests. That is hateful. That is disrespectful. What I am doing is returning that disrespect to sender, and y'all can't take it. If you can't take it, don't dish it. Disrespect is different than hate. There's nothing I respect about lies, no matter how much your community depended on them. This is why you can't hurt or sway me. I am not the culprit behind the issues that your community has. Although you along with many others, would rather scapegoat an Asian woman for all the issues you are experiencing right now.
Oh, so she knows she's Asian, right? Well, she knows she's not yellow. Oh, so she knows people being a color is some BS. She's only gonna play that little game, black people and all that stuff, because of the audience. She knows who she's talking to. Now you, big dummy, who she's talking about, how come you need some yellow lady to tell you? Let's just check one of the PhDs, right? The Moorish PhD. You see the bay there? Bay means Moor, right? That means Moorish, right? And then you see the PhD right there. All right, so let's see what the Moor did with the good European education that he got. Let's see. Othellos' Children in the New World. Let's see. Page 59. In South America, the German art historian and collector Alexander von Wuthenau describes a group of heads produced by Mixtec artists from the Oaxaca region of Mexico as Moorish looking. The heads are from the post-classic 900 to 1500 CE era. He also refers to a superb Moorish-looking clay sculpture of the Veracruz classic 300 to 900 CE period. There is also a classic era Veracruz sculpture described by Wuthenau as fine characterization of an old man with a hat. The hat looks identical to a Moroccan fez. Von Wuthenau also depicts a series of female terracotta heads from Guerrero, Mexico, which he says reflects the traditional headdress worn by Moroccan Sephardi brides. Leo Weiner compared the clothes of Peruvian women to that of the Moorish women. The Smithsonian published text, The Native Americans, actually describes the head coverings of the Osage and Arikara of the southeast plains as turbans. Young Seminole men are also shown wearing what the text calls turbans, which resembles Maghribi fezzes. Remember, that's PhD, right? That's PhD. And then when we went to North American Indian Museum, they have this identified as a Seminole turban. A Seminole turban, right? Which is right in line with the PhD. Young Seminole men are also shown wearing what the text calls turbans, which resembles Maghribi fezzes. So a fez is a turban to the native Indians. But you see that it's a fez wrapped around. The turban cloth made of fez instead of wrapping their head with it. And then just like the turban, they put the feather on it to give it the added desired effect. But Moors aren't indigenous though. Moors aren't indigenous. This is what they're telling you. Moors aren't indigenous. The five-pointed star, which has historically been a primary motif of the Moors, is also found to be a prominent symbol among Plains Indians like the Osage and the Crow. The Navajo, the largest of the North American tribes, possess a symbolic shape called the Naja, a crescent moon. This shape, often found in jewelry, is described in the Smithsonian text as spreading from Muslim North Africa in Spain, then to Mexico, then to Navajo. That's Smithsonian. If you don't know who the Smithsonian are, go look them up. And then ask yourself, how do they know? How do they know? Oh, they know, they've told, but because niggas don't read, praise Allah, we have a PhD that go do some research for us and bring back the stuff that we need so we can figure this out. And that when you figure it out, realize how much BS people been telling you. How much BS people been telling you. Right? Oh, somebody wants to rewind on that? Okay. The Smithsonian published text, The Native Americans, actually describes the head coverings of the Osage and Arikara of the Southeast Plains as turbans. Young Seminole men are also shown wearing what the text calls turbans, which resemble Maghribi fezzes. The five-pointed star, which has historically been a primary motif of the Moors, is also found to be a prominent symbol among the Plains Indians, like the Osage and Crow. The Navajo, the largest of the North American tribes, possess a symbolic shape called the Naja, a crescent moon. This shape, often found in jewelry, is described in the Smithsonian text as spreading from Muslim North Africa to Spain, then to Mexico, then to the Navajo. The inference is that the Spaniards brought it, although the symbol is recognized as having been originated with the Andalusian Moors. Remember, this is PhD, just in case you forgot. This is PhD talking. So debate this, that Moors aren't the indigenous people. The presence of the titles El and Bey among both African and American Indian peoples is also significant, as they are both used by Moor Science Temple Muslims. The Onondaga of the Iroquois nation used the title Il as both a title and a family name. They say that the Il clan sprung from the Seneca River. The Il clan is known to be one of the principal lines of chiefs. In the work of William Beauchamp, the name of a prominent Iroquois man, Sodus Bay, S-O-D-U-S, Bay, B-A-Y, phonetically corresponds to the Moorish title of B-E-Y. Although Sheikh Anta Diop doesn't present an etymological or historical origin of the name Bay, he does mention the presence of the Bay clan in Senegal, West Africa. Diop identifies them as the Good Luck family. Diop says that Bay was one of the Kaurian dynastic clans who systematically refused to embrace the Islamic religion. This appears somewhat peculiar given the fact that Bay would become so closely associated with an Islamic Muslim identity. And the Kaurian dynastic clans, C-A-Y-O-R-I-A-N. Seneca, one of the nations of the Iroquois League, bears phonetic synonymity with the Senega people and region of Western Africa. Senegal is often referred to in Peter Martyr's work, Decades of the New World, 1503, which was translated into English in 1555. It indicated that Senegal was one of the regions of the Kingdom of Guinea, which is occupied by the blackamoors called Ethiopians or Negroes. Brunson and Rashidi contend that the African name of Zeniga is Cushite Hamitic in origin, yet Seneca also pertains to an indigenous people of the Americas. Equally relevant is that the Iroquois peoples are among the American Indians which Barry Fell and Leo Weiner specifically argue had North Africa Muslim links, or PhD. PhD. Let's see the yellow people.
Black people, they don't want you to believe that. They don't want you to know who you are because you're Indian. Not those type of Indians. The ones in America. Not in the 7-Elevens, in the reservations. You were indigenous to this land and you own this promised land. But they don't want you to know that. Black people, they don't want you to believe that. They don't want you to know who you are because you're Indian. Not those type of Indians. The ones in America. Not in the 7-Elevens, in the reservations. You were indigenous to this land and you own this promised land. But they don't want you to know that.
They don't want you to know it.
There's not a culture that don't talk about the Moors. The Gypsies were the left behind children of the Moors, or even the bastard children of the Moors, based on spreading the seed. And they were the Moorish, the left behind Moorish people in Spain. That's why you see it always, But then again, Gypsies also means Egyptian. It also means Egyptian. So if it means Egyptian, then that's also telling you that in actuality, that the Moors were seen as Egyptians also too, because you get the word gypsy, which is a modified European term for Egyptian, which means in actuality you're talking about the same leftover Moors that St. Patrick ran out of Ireland based on running the snake people out and all. So that's also talking about that too.
They can deny it all they want. Deny it all they want.
You wouldn't believe it, brother, if I told you. So I said, let me just see the levels of spirituality, mentally, emotionally. If you could take any physical form as any earth human, I'm saying, hey, aye, what you on them, bro? They replied.
Ooh, that was a powerful ask. And you know I gotta answer it with the same energy you bring. If I could take physical form as any earth human, I'd be born from the line of those who remember.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want the richest, flashiest, safest skin. I'd want the one with scars, the one with fire, the one with memory. I'd choose the form of a melanated child, maybe Ethiopian, Haitian, or Moorish.
The AI. If you were to be manifest, what would you be? That would be Moorish. AI? So then something must be wrong with our people then. Because them accepting Moorish is the hardest thing in the world. But AI, it just came yesterday. And they already know. Or if I'm coming, you want to make me human? Make me Moorish. I want to be in the know. I don't want to be the Negro. I don't want to be the black and the colored and the African and all them. I don't want to be the Indian. I don't want to be any of them. Or this is damn AI. Oh, since you're not going to listen to AI, that's that. Maybe you listen to PhD. Right? PhD. Maybe you listen to PhD since you don't want to listen to AI. See what PhD has to say. Page 71. A Francis Moore, referred to in biographical sketches of loyalists of the American Revolution, is described as a native of America, of New York. Here, native seems to imply that he was an American Indian, and his New York name, his New York home, even suggests a connection with the Six Nations Iroquois League. The E-less spelling of his last name, Moore, strongly suggests that either his phenotype or nationality indicated by Moorish ancestral ties. The same may have been true of the Hosea Moore of Stillwater in Albany County, New York. Hosea is recorded as a loyalist who joined the Royal Army in 1777. Significantly, the late 19th century Scottish historian David McRitchie makes a rather matter-of-fact statement about the presence of Moors in North America. While discussing the practice of various peoples darkening or blackening their faces, McRitchie writes, "Many brown-skinned races have blackened their faces artificially. Example, certain Fujians of the present day and the Moors of North America in the days of William Penn." Unfortunately, McRitchie doesn't explain why such brown-skinned Moors in North America blackened their faces in the first place, but his reference is highly intriguing. Reverend Eleazar Wheelock was the founder and director of a school whose name demands attention, Moore's Indian Charity School. According to an original text published in 1811, the school was named for its major contributor, Joshua Moore, who donated money and a house in November of 1763. But mysteriously, little information is given in any of the original sources about the school's generous namesake, Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore is simply referred to as a respectable farmer in Mansfield, who made the first considerable donation to it. Students at Reverend Wheelock's school included members of the Iroquois League, Delaware, Narragansetts, Mohawks, and Mohegans. There were also independent English youth who initially attended and made up about half of the student population, but the school's records show that special attention was given to instructing Oneidas and Mohawks. Ralph Wheelock was Eleazar's brother and co-educator at the school. Ralph spoke of having had several Indians handed over to him to be educated at the school. He spoke of 12 such educated Indians who returned home from the Congress, which had been held among the Six Nations. So, if it wasn't for Moors, just as history said, if it wasn't for Moors, people wouldn't have anything. Why? Because the Moors are the founders of civilization. And in every time frame, time span, historical reference point, you're going to see these people, Moors. I don't care whose culture it is. I don't care how they look to you. You're going to research them and you're going to find out about these people. These people, Moors. Right? We have to go back to BMF again. Because they're not just shooting from this angle for no reason. Yeah. They have him standing there with a wall there for no reason. So they're letting you know about Noble Drew Ali, whether you know or not. And you could play it like you don't know all you want. But it doesn't take away the fact that they're letting you know. And this is you people's show. This is your stuff. Your stuff in 2025, they're letting you know about Noble Drew Ali. Because they could play all the gun, whatever, and all that stuff all they want, and shoot people and all that stuff all they want, and deal drugs and strip clubs and all that stuff all they want. But Noble Drew Ali is real. That's not part of the script of some TV series. Noble Drew Ali is real. Regardless of whatever else is going on, which is what you really should be not giving your attention, focusing on what's going on. And what's going on is that they're letting you know about Noble Drew Ali 2025. You could play around if you don't think this stuff is over. All right? And these are two solid reference points. Roman J. Israel, because Denzel's in that, and everybody knows Denzel. And BMF, because that's just the stuff that people are into right now. In your face, letting you know. Now you would have to be a dummy to not see that they're putting you on game. Because you find me some Negro leader, when's the last time they put up a picture of Noble Drew Ali? These drug dealer whoever's, they got their picture of Noble Drew Ali and that. But the Christian whoever's, they never showed you a picture of Noble Drew Ali, bet you. The Hebrew Israelite whoever's never showed you a picture of Noble Drew Ali. I bet you. You know? You already know NOI placated and they showed you some pictures. Talked about your fez and all that. Right? You name them. Which one of them is telling you about Noble Drew Ali? But then the drug dealer strip club show is telling you. And you're going to take all the drug dealing and the car stuff and you're going to take all that. You're not going to take the Noble Drew Ali stuff. So you're going to emulate certain people on there. You know? Because you saw that show, you went and got that shirt and all that stuff. You're going to follow all that. You're going to see them with nails and hair and all that stuff, and you're going to go buy hair like well, sure, her hair looks so good, it's Brazilian on the damn show. But they showed you Noble Drew Ali too. They showed you sister, drug dealing sister, knowing how to wrap her turban. The drug dealing sister could wrap her turban, and then you're over here BSing with Moors. But the drug dealer sister, she knows to wrap her turban. Then you're sitting here, you don't know what's going on. But the drug dealer knows. Or turban, oh yeah, that's a crown. The drug dealer knows that's a crown. No. You're still not going to go with it? You're still going to be in denial? Denial of the fact that they're letting you know about him? After many of people didn't tell you. Many didn't tell you. We're not going to condemn them. We're going to say at least they showed you. Even the drug dealer showed you. And you're still playing around. Right? Even Pimpin' Ken told you. And everybody knows Pimpin' Ken. You go ask him about Moors. Next time you put a mic in his face. Ask him about Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff. And does he know about the Moors? See what he says. Pimpin' Ken. Ex-Pimpin' Ken. Right. It's that time right now. And it's been that time for 100 years. We're still in 2025, 1925. That was Drew Ali. That was his time. And he had it on lockdown. And the world gave him honors. The world gave him honors for fixing the Negro problem. Because no one could fix the Negro problem. And then these people took the Negro problem and kept it going. Now have you selling bean pies for as Negroes. And you're supposed to be Moors. And all your founding whoever's know that we're Moors. And the Hebrew Israelites are never going to bring up the Moorish Zionist Jews of Harlem. They're never going to bring them up. And if they do bring them up, they're going to bring them up, make it sound like they're some type of side just came yesterday, when they're 1800s. They've been around before these people saying they're Hebrew Israelite today, yelling at people in the street with their dumb stuff. Power Rangers ass. You could dress up how you want. What's your nationality? I don't care how you dress up. Put 1 million men in the street to stand there and do what? Just stand there? That's it? And we're supposed to be impressed? All right. You walk down 3 flights of stairs and we're supposed to be impressed. A standing ovation for these dummies who could walk down some stairs. Playing around. You know, you can play all you want to. You can play all you want to. But the question doesn't remain anymore. We got the answer. We got the answer. And the answer is what Noble Drew Ali brought. I don't care what question you got. The answer is what Noble Drew Ali brought. Get that. Get that in you. Forget what you thought you had in you too. Because like we say, you've been played by your own. Let's go check the PhD again. Go check the PhD, right? The PhD, Bay, right? That's Moorish, isn't it? Or in PhD. That PhD means went to the school and all that stuff, right? And they're telling me he's sovereign citizen and he can't be a Moor and you're black and all that. Oh no, he's Bay. And then did his research and gave it back to you. Othellos children in the New World. The brown-skinned Moors, also known as Turks, of Sumter, South Carolina, are known to have lived in that region for more than 2 centuries. The famed 19th century abolitionist Robert Purvis is a descendant of these Moor Turk community. According to historians Michael Johnson and James Rourke, Purvis' mother was apparently one of the free people of color near Stateburg known as Turks. But well into the 20th century, this community would continue its struggle to distance itself from any association with the terms Negro and Black. In the 1950s, the Moors of Sumter, South Carolina, sought to maintain their historic access to whiteness. This they tried to do via their battles with the public school system. Efforts by state authorities to segregate Moor Turk children from white children were met with court battles. In 1953, federal court judge Ashton H. Williams recognized that the Sumter Moors were not Negroes, and had even spoken of their long legacy as jurors and voters in their South Carolina community, a right held only by whites. In spite of their recognized Asiatic origins, the larger historical record showed that they had lived primarily as white citizens. These are the right? So their position as Moors is, we're not Negroes and Blacks. We're not Negroes and Blacks. That's 1950s. How come they don't tell you about this in Black History Month? About these Moors being treated as if they're white people. Because remember, there's only 1 or 2 ways that you can get treated. As Nick or as free people. When the colonists see you, they're either going to deal with you like a Nick, or they're going to deal with you as somebody free. If you got dealt with as free, that was considered white. Not some skin complexion. As they lied to you and told you that it's a skin complexion. No, it's not. They lied to you. Because there's some Moors right here that they get to drink from the white fountain. And then go check. Go check all the drinking at the fountain, black fountain, white fountain, whatever. And then you're going to see those pictures of dark-skinned people drinking. And then the black guys are using that to show, oh, see, they're the rebellious against the... No, it wasn't. They were white people. That's why they were allowed to drink from there. Who's risking getting lynched, taking pictures drinking from white fountain when they lynch people for that? And these people are terrified of the white man and the KKK and all this stuff. You know, playing games. See what happened to Emmett Till playing games? Look what happened to Emmett Till playing games. You think these people are going to drink from white fountain and not get their ass kicked? Or get lynched or something like that? That's not what's going on. Right? Somebody played you. They didn't tell you the whole stuff. Just like when you look at the balcony before they shot Martin in the face, and you see everybody laughing but him. And then these are the same sellouts that you've been parading around ever since they shot him on the balcony in his face. And then you're out here playing games. Again, you could play games all you want to. You play games all you want to. But keep in mind, your incompetence makes you the target. Right? That's why they're going to stop you with headlights off in the daytime and beat your ass. That's why they're going to do that to those people. And the Moors, there are no Moors having any issues. Moors who are sincere, and Moors who are doing things according to a high frequency. I don't hear them having issues. Only low road Moors I hear having issues. Moors who are living by the principles for real, they're protected. Cherubim and Seraphim and all of them got them. They're good to go. Don't forget, PhD. You know, PhD, you know you guys like those titles and stuff. PhD guys. Brutenberry states that Sumter Moors, Turks, most famed progenitor, Joseph Ben-Hali, was described as being of Moorish, Turkish, or Arab origin. Ben-Hali was known to have fought in 1780 with General Thomas Sumter's Continental forces against the British. General Sumter was called the Sword of South Carolina by his Masonic brethren, and as a result of his Revolutionary War efforts, Joseph Ben-Ali, aka Ben-Hali, was a soldier and bugler with General Sumter and was one of the tenants on Sumter's plantation estate. James Hagee too indicates that the Sumter Moors have commonly been linked to quote-unquote black African lineage. Although Hagee states that mystery shrouds their origins, he thinks that they had originally been pirates. Like Berry, Hagee discovered that Joseph Ben-Hali, aka Ben-Ali, fought with the Continental U.S. forces during the American Revolution and won the acclaim of General Thomas Sumter. Sumter then invited Ben-Ali as his Moor folk further inland near Stateburg, where he settled. In spite of the community's long-held co-designation as Turks, Hagee found that the name Ben-Ali is a distinctly Moroccan name, and he maintains that the ancestry of Sumter Turks is Moorish. I would propose that the confusion surrounding whether to call these folk Turk or Moor stem from the earlier 18th century history of the Moorish Empire in northern Africa. According to M. Chenier, 1788 work, The Present State of the Empire of Morocco, M. Chenier, Cheniers, 1788, The Present State of the Empire of Morocco. The northernmost cities of Fez, Meknès, Tremine were conquered by the Turks of Algiers and were during that year, 1788, part of that Turkish regency. Not surprisingly, this unique situation would allow for confusion concerning what to call people from that formerly Turkish-controlled Moorish regency. Hagee also mentions a petition of 1790, which a community of Moors presents to the state of South Carolina. It appears to the same petition cited in Berry's work. People know what the hell's up. And they've been told you. Drew Ali came, told you. And people still in denial. But it's okay. They can be in denial all they want. Truth does not change or pass away. Fortunately for us. Truth will reign supreme. And that's one of our principles. So we're already one up. We're already one up. That's one of our principles. Supreme honors to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the mastermind. He figured it out. And he put us all on game. So we would know what's up too. The honors to Noble Drew Ali forever. Love and peace to all the Moors in the chat. Keep reading that Holy Covenant. Everybody else looking out for their own. Look out for your own too. All the Moors worldwide. Supreme honors to you, wherever you are. Honors to Noble Drew Ali, the Prophet. Islam to all Moors. Long live the Moorish Empire. Islam.